Hello, Antique and Garden Showcase friends, and welcome back. Today I was going to put together a recipe and pots for you from Proven Winners recipe called Girls Night Out. And it was going to be a modified recipe because I couldn't find all those flowers at my local greenhouse, but I was going to do one that complemented a planter that I have. Unfortunately, the weather around here has not cooperated for anything this spring. We get one day I have to go out and mow the yard and do cleanup, and then we get 4 or 5 days of rain, and then we have to go mow the yard, and then we get 4 or 5 days of rain, then we get cold, then we get snow. So it's been kind of a vicious cycle of not being able to get anything done in the yard this year. It's been so wet around here. I brought a load of mulch in just a few days ago, and as you can see on the top of the tarp, it is just covered in water, so I had to cover that over to protect it, to keep it from getting even more wet out here. The gardens, these are bread seed poppies coming up. The vegetable gardens have not been planted. It's just soupy, muddy mess from days of rain. The garlic is actually looking pretty good. It's loving it. There's a lot of bread seed poppies coming up in here, which I'll thin out. I was going to actually plant my potatoes down here. Haven't had a chance to even do that yet. I've got to reweed this bed out, fix a little mulch in spots around this hill here. But it's so wet, I'm afraid the potatoes are going to rot in the ground. So I'm holding off on those till we get some drier days as well. So it's just been day after day of rain. But the yard is nice and green and lush, and that's keeping me very busy right now. So what I've been doing is, as I've been finding plants this year, I've been bringing them home, putting them under the grow lights to keep them. This was some of my stash from where I picked up at Warren's farm greenhouse the other day, keeping them under lights because it's still too early to pot out. And even if I had them in pots right now, there are really no good days to take them out there to even get them kind of hardened off because it's just rain after rain after rain. But did get some pretty things here. Supertunia Bordeaux, which is one that's going to be used in this recipe that I'm doing today. Also, I'm going to modify that recipe, and I think in here somewhere, I'm going to use a Supertunia honey. So we're going to use Bordeaux, and we're going to use honey. I've got those two. And then, I was unable to find the Proven Winners version of verbena, but I got this one that they had, and that one doesn't have a bloom on it. This one does. Let me grab this one. I had to kind of revive this one the other day. This one is that dark purple look. Hopefully you can see it there a bit in this light. This was the one, I've had all kinds of struggles here this morning, called Empress Flare Burgundy. So that's going to be part of the recipe that I'm going to use. Now let's go look at the pot that I'm going to put these in eventually. Well, I'm here in the garage today. This is the planter I'm going to be using. This is one of the Vietnam planters that I picked up from Ollie's a couple of years ago. I really like this design. It's a very pretty, kind of a small urn design, and I used that one around the brick retaining driveway wall out there. And I'm here in front of my cannas, which seem to be coming out really well in the garage already. I just keep the bulbs in those liners through the winter time and just give them a little water every 3 weeks, and they are already coming out really well. Now I may cut some of that growth back and let them come out anew, and I will go in here and pull these bulbs and divide them out, give them fresh potting soil and things coming up soon, I hope, if the weather holds out. Anyway, today's focus is this pot and what I'm going to do with it. The recipe was Girls Night Out. It was Supertunia Bordeaux, which I did find, and I'm going to use in that. And I'm just going to kind of just set these in here right now. Supertunia Bordeaux. The other one called for Supertunia Limoncello, which they did not have, but they had Supertunia Honey. And I thought, well, that color with this pot might even look better because it's got a little bit of an orange cast to it. And I thought, well, this might look even better than Limoncello. So I'm going to do Bordeaux, honey, and then they did not have the Burgundy Superbena, so I got the one here, which was the Empress Flare Burgundy, and I'm going to use that as my other. So I will arrange those in a triangle whenever I plant those, and then I'll train these verbena around the petunias and kind of get those all mixed together, and we'll achieve that look, hopefully, when this is all said and done. And of course I will run drip up through the bottom of this, and this will be hooked up to the drip system when I get that far. Unfortunately, today I can't get this planted because I have to keep these things under the grow lights in order to keep them alive. And that's just been the story of spring around here in Kentucky 6B. It's been a wet one this year. Last but definitely not least is the new acquisition I have for the garden. This beautiful garden urn I picked up at the place where I actually got all of my urns out front of the house. I happened to stop in there the other day, and I was just talking to the owner, and we were chit-chatting about different things, and I looked over and I'm like, how much you got on this garden urn? And I didn't expect it to be in a price range that I could afford. And he's like, well, that one's aluminum, and he's like, he just gave me a really good price on it. And I said, okay, sold. So it does need a lot of work. As you can see, the paint's really chippy on it. I think originally it was white. Somebody had painted it black. It's down to bare metal here. So this one's going to take a lot of work. This is a one-piece urn. Everything is all together on this one, pedestal, top, and all. So when I put this one out too, I'm going to have to figure out a way to reinforce the bottom so it doesn't become top heavy in the wind and start doing this number, outside. But I think the plan for this one, it's going to go in the kitchen garden out back somewhere, either on the outside of the fence or the inside. I haven't decided. I have a couple of focal point areas out there that I'm thinking it might look really good, and the bowl actually has good drainage already in it. So I've been looking online. There is an aluminum primer, so chances are I'm going to take this out. I'm going to try to get as much of this chippy stuff out, and I'll take you through this process, I hope, really soon. Get the chippy stuff off of here, and then do an aluminum primer on that. And I'm really actually thinking about taking this one back to white. I may not. I may actually go with black, or I may even go with a hammered green. I don't know which. A deep hammered green might be pretty, but most likely it'll be black or white. And if I can't get all the black off of there as much as I want, it'll probably go back to black, because priming out black to cover it in white is just going to be a nightmare. So anyway, black will match everything else that I have around here, and I think it will look really great out there as a focal point in the kitchen garden. So new acquisition. I was actually going to take you all along and do a tour of the place where I buy these, and unfortunately the day that I picked this up, I was getting ready to go outside, do some filming. It came an absolute downpour. In fact, I had to run and grab this urn and pitch it in the back end of the car and wrap it up quickly before it even got soaked. In fact, it was quite a ordeal. So another day, we'll get back over there. I'll show you a little bit about that antique shop, but just as a spoiler, I'll throw up some pictures here of some of the beautiful things that are inside the antique shop where I purchased this. Friends, thank you for coming along again today for Antique and Garden Showcase, and I look forward to having more things with antiques and gardening coming out real soon. In fact, at that antique shop, I picked up a piece that I think is going to be very interesting. I'm doing some research on it right now, and I'm very happy with another purchase that I made on the same day that I got the garden urn. So, you never know. Sometimes lightning strikes twice in the same place. But keep watching Facebook. Look at Antique & Garden Showcase. Go over there and like that page. You'll get some updates and some video clips and some little highlights that I don't put out on YouTube. Also, I do announce my YouTube videos on Facebook as well. I have a website, www.antiqueandgardenshowcase.com. I also post updates on there as well. So look forward to seeing you in the next video. I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your week. If you're in Kentucky, stay dry as best as you possibly can, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.